All right, so you're looking at a move to SAP S/4HANA. You already know it's a huge project, right? But here's the thing. The biggest challenge, surprisingly, often isn't the shiny new technology itself. Nope, it's figuring out how to move your company's entire history, every last bit of it, into its brand new home. So today, that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
So, you're upgrading to this awesome state-of-the-art system. That's great, but what about your most valuable asset? The one thing you absolutely cannot replace. And I'm not talking about your buildings or your machinery, I'm talking about your data. You know, every single customer, every transaction, every part number, it's literally the lifeblood of your entire company.
To really get a handle on this, we're going to use a simple analogy for this whole explainer. I want you to think of your S/4HANA project as building a brand new dream house. And the data migration? Well, that's the actual move. It's packing up everything from your old place and getting it safely into the new one.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the big challenge, then dive into SAP's clever solution, what I like to call their smart moving boxes. After that, we'll get into how the move actually happens, how to plan your journey, and we'll wrap up with the absolute must-knows before you even think about starting.
Okay, let's start with the heart of the problem, the migration challenge. Imagine this. You've built this amazing new house. That's your S/4HANA system. It's perfect, it's modern, it has everything you wanted. The only catch? All your stuff, your furniture, your memories, your important papers, it's all still sitting back in the old house.
And this is so important to understand. The really tricky part isn't just installing the software. The real hurdle is moving, let's say, decades of your business history, every order, every invoice, every customer detail, into this new system without losing or messing up a single thing. I mean, one tiny mistake could lead to chaos, lost sales, bad financial reports. It has to be safe, and it has to be 100% accurate.
So how on earth do you manage a move that complex? Well, you wouldn't just start tossing things into random bags, would you? Of course not. You'd need a system. And that brings us to SAP's very own solution, something called migration objects.
So what in the world is a migration object? Honestly, the best way to think of them is as these super smart pre-labeled moving boxes that SAP gives you. Each box is specifically designed for a certain type of item. You know, one for your customer data, one for your product data, one for financial records. And the best part? They come with a little instruction manual on exactly how to pack and where it all goes.
And here's a great look at what actually goes into these smart boxes. You see, you've got boxes for your foundational stuff, the real core information, like your customer list, and then you have others for your business history, like a sales quotation. But what's really important to notice here is the moving method. Some things can be moved directly, like a straight shot. Others need to be packed into files first. Getting this distinction right, well, that's absolutely key to your whole plan.
Okay, so you've got your specialized boxes. Fantastic. But that's just step one. Now you've got to figure out your moving strategy. This is all about knowing exactly what you're moving and deciding on the best way to get it from point A to point B. First things first, you have to sort your stuff. In the SAP universe, there are two big categories. You've got master data, which is like the foundation of your house, your furniture, your address book of customers, the appliances. Then you've got transactional data. That's the history, right? It's all the receipts, the photo albums, the financial records of everything that's ever happened in the house. You need both, but you definitely move them in different ways. Next up, you pick your moving style. SAP basically gives you two choices. There's the direct transfer, which is kind of like hiring a full-service moving company. Their tools just connect the old system to the new one and handle it all. Then there's the file/staging approach. This is more like a DIY move. You pack the boxes yourself by putting the data into files, and then SAP's tools help you load them up. It's more work for sure, but it gives you way more flexibility to clean things up before you move in.
You know, any good mover will tell you that the secret to success is all in the prep work. You can't just wake up on moving day and hope for the best. You need a rock-solid plan. So let's walk through the essential movers checklist for a smooth ride to S/4HANA.
Now this checklist is mission critical. First, you have to check dependencies. It's simple logic. You have to set up your new address book before you can send mail, right? Same idea here. Then, you've got to verify the scope. Know exactly what each box is for and what it's not for. You also need to make sure all the system setup is done in the new house before the trucks arrive. And finally, make sure your team has the right keys, the user permissions, for both the old place and the new one. Skipping any of these can cause a serious traffic jam. And here is a major pro tip, pulled straight from SAP's own guide. Every now and then, you'll see a tool, a migration object, that's marked as deprecated. Pay close attention to this. It's basically a big warning sign from SAP saying, hey, there's a newer, better version of this tool, and we're getting rid of this old one soon.
So why is that such a big deal? Well, using a deprecated object is like choosing to pack your most fragile heirlooms in a soggy cardboard box you found in the garage. Yeah, it might just make it to the new house, but it's risky, it's not supported, and you just know it's going to fall apart eventually. Just don't do it. Always use the newest tools SAP gives you.
Okay, we are on the home stretch. We've made the plan, we've packed our smart boxes, and now it's time for those last-minute checks before we officially cut the ribbon and go live in our new home.
So, let's quickly recap the key takeaways. First, migration objects are your best friends. They're SAP's tools to make this whole process way simpler. Second, know your data. You got to separate your furniture, your master data, from your photo albums, your transactional data. Third, decide on your move. Are you going full service with a direct transfer, or are you packing the boxes yourself with the file approach? And last but definitely not least, planning is everything. Check those dependencies, know your scope, and get your prerequisites done. It's truly the difference between a smooth move and a total disaster.
At the end of the day, this whole thing isn't really just about moving bits and bytes. It's about carefully moving your company's story, its entire history and identity, into a new home where it has room to grow. So the only question left to ask is your plan ready to write that next chapter?